Welcome back to A Moment in History. I'm 𝙎𝙐𝘽𝙎𝘾. In this segment, let's travel back over 2,500 years to the Kingdom Age of Israel. Now, throughout the Kingdom Age, God's people were buried in disobedience, and it started at the top. Because of the wickedness of the kings, God caused the united kingdom of Israel to be fractured. This happened under Rehoboam, the grandson of King David and son of King Solomon. The northern kingdom of Israel, with no claim to the throne through royal blood, was ruled under a dynasty where every single king rejected God. Now, in the southern kingdom of Judah, the kings were almost as wicked as those in the north, despite their familial claim to the throne. But one of them, famous for rising to the throne as a very young boy, displayed great faithfulness to God throughout his whole life. He was Josiah, the good boy king of Judah. According to the book of 2 Kings, Josiah was 8 years old when he ascended to the throne. Imagine that, he's a kid, and unlike almost all his ancestors, the Bible tells us that he did what was right in the Lord's sight and walked in all the ways of his ancestor David. He did not turn to the right or to the left. The imagery here provides us actually a foreshadowing of how Jesus commanded believers to stay on the narrow path that leads to life. Young Josiah surely did. During his reign, Josiah accomplished something of great importance for the people of Israel and the glory of God. When he was roughly 25 years old, he undertook the challenge to repair the mighty temple of the Lord built by his ancestor Solomon. In doing so, Josiah recovered the book of the law written by Moses and known to us as the words in the books of the Pentateuch, specifically in Deuteronomy. Josiah was moved to great anguish when he discovered the book, not at all because it was a bad discovery, actually it was quite the opposite. Rather, Josiah had such a poignant understanding of the depravity of the people of Israel. They had rejected God's law, and they needed to recover it spiritually as it had been physically recovered. Josiah said this, "For great is the Lord's wrath that is kindled against us, because our ancestors have not obeyed the words of this book." King Josiah devoted his life to restoring a sense of obedience and love for the Lord and his people. He modeled it himself, and then he enacted laws so that his people would do the same. He destroyed the altars to pagan gods in high places. He reinstituted the nationwide observance of Passover. And 2 Kings 23 tells us, "Before him there was no king like him who turned to the Lord with all his soul and with all his strength, according to the law of Moses, and no one like him arose after him." What an example of faithfulness for us today, in an age where many have rejected the one true God. May we have the same faithfulness as Josiah, a man who was unmatched among the Old Testament kings for his submission to the commands of God and his love for the Word of God. Thanks so much for joining me once again for A Moment in History. For more historical content, subscribe and click that bell to get notifications for when our next Moment in History comes out. Until next time, I'm 𝙎𝙐𝘽𝙎𝘾.